The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are.
They look at you, don't they? With that distinct, quiet mix of pity and suspicion. When you tell them you live alone, when they see you walking without a partner, their eyes ask the question they are too polite to say out loud. What is wrong with her? Why hasn't she been chosen? For years, you may have let that silent judgment seep into your bones. You may have laid awake in the quiet of your own home, wondering if the silence was a sign of your failure. But let me tell you the truth that society is terrified to admit. The woman who lives alone, without a man, not out of bitterness, but out of choice, is not left over. She is set apart. She has not failed to find a partner. She has succeeded in finding herself. You are entering a sacred space that Carl Jung called individuation, the psychological process of becoming whole, unbreakable, and truly free. Welcome to Timeless Wisdom Official. If you are ready to stop apologizing for your solitude and start understanding the immense power it holds, I invite you to join our community of seekers. Click subscribe, like this video, and let us walk this path of wisdom together.
The mirror of solitude. The difference between loneliness and solitude. We must first dismantle the greatest lie ever told to women, that being alone is the same thing as being lonely. These two words are often used interchangeably, but in the language of the soul, they are oceans apart. Loneliness is a poverty of the self. It is the desperate feeling that you are incomplete, a half circle searching frantically for another half to make you whole. Loneliness is panic. It is the reason people stay in toxic relationships, the reason they text ex-lovers at 2 a.m., the reason they fill their apartments with noise and background television just to avoid the sound of their own thoughts. Loneliness says, "I cannot survive my own company." Solitude, however, is a richness of the self. Solitude is the glorious moment you realize that you are not a half. You are a universe. When a woman chooses to live alone, she is making a radical declaration. She is saying that her own company is enough to sustain her. This is why you might feel a strange shift in the energy when you tell people you are happy on your own. You disrupt their reality. We live in a society that is structured around dependency. We are taught from childhood that the happy ending is always a wedding. But Carl Jung taught us that the true goal of human life is not marriage. It is wholeness. If you are living alone right now, look around your space. That empty chair, that quiet kitchen, that bed that belongs only to you. This is not a void. It is a canvas. For the first time, you are not reacting to someone else's mood. You are not shrinking to fit someone else's comfort. You are expanding. The woman who lives alone has discovered a secret luxury, the luxury of unedited existence. You wake up and the day is yours. The energy in your home is your own frequency, uncontaminated by the stress, judgments, or demands of another. This is not isolation. This is the incubation chamber for your soul. You are not hiding from the world. You are preparing for it on a level that most people never reach. Confronting the shadow in the empty house. However, we must be honest. The first stage of living alone is not always peaceful. In fact, it can be terrifying. And this is exactly where the real work begins. Carl Jung famously said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." When you remove the distraction of a relationship, you remove your primary hiding place. Many women use relationships as a buffer against their own demons. We focus on his problems, his needs, his chaos, so we don't have to look at our own. But when the door closes and you are truly alone, there is nowhere left to hide. The silence acts as a vacuum, pulling everything you have suppressed up to the surface. This is the shadow. In the first few months or years of living alone, you might face waves of anxiety, old memories of childhood abandonment, sudden pangs of unworthiness, or a critical inner voice that tells you you are unlovable. This is the shadow stepping out of the dark corners of your psyche. Most people run from this. They download dating apps the moment they feel the sting of silence. They rush to find a new body to occupy the empty space, so the shadow will go back underground. But you did something different. You stayed. The woman who successfully lives alone is a warrior of the psyche. You sat on that couch with your anxiety and you didn't run. You let the silence scream at you until it ran out of breath. You faced the feeling of being unwanted, and you realized it was just an old echo from the past, not the truth of your present. By enduring the initial discomfort of solitude, you are doing the shadow work that Jung spoke of. You are integrating the dark parts of yourself. You are learning that you can feel sad, bored, or anxious and still be okay. You stop needing a man to be your emotional pacifier. This is the moment the good girl dies, and the wise woman is born. You realize that the empty house isn't haunted by ghosts. It is inhabited by the parts of yourself you abandoned long ago, waiting for you to come home and love them. The inner marriage, finding the king within. Integrating the animus. As you settle deeper into this solitude, a profound psychological shift begins to take place. It is subtle at first, but it changes the very foundation of your reality. You stop looking for a savior. Carl Jung introduced a concept called the animus. In simple terms, this is the unconscious masculine side of a woman. For centuries, women were taught to repress this side of themselves. Their assertiveness, their logic, their protective instincts, and their power to provide. We were told that these traits belonged to men, and if we wanted access to them, we had to marry a man. This created a dynamic of dependency. How many women do you know who are looking for a partner not just for love, but for safety? Who are looking for someone to make the hard decisions, to handle the finances, to fix the broken parts of their lives? Jung argued that when a woman ignores her inner masculine, she projects it onto every man she meets. She looks for a hero because she does not believe she can save herself. But when you live alone, the projection breaks. There is no one else to call when the fuse blows. There is no one else to kill the spider in the corner. There is no one else to double-check the lock on the front door at night. At first, this responsibility feels heavy. It feels like a burden. But slowly, day by day, it transforms into power. You become the provider of your own safety. You become the architect of your own stability. When you handle your own bills, manage your own emotions, and protect your own peace, you are engaging in what Jungians call the inner marriage. You are integrating the animus. You are becoming the king of your own castle. This is the secret that the lonely spinster narrative tries to hide. A woman who lives alone often develops a level of confidence that is unshakable. You walk differently when you know that you can survive on your own. You lose that desperate, hungry look that says, "Please take care of me." Instead, your eyes say, "I have taken care of myself." This makes you magnetic, but it also makes you selective. When you have integrated your inner masculine, you no longer need a man to fill a void or to play the role of dad. You no longer need him to complete you. This changes the game entirely. You stop attracting men who want to control a helpless damsel, and you start attracting men who are looking for an equal. You stop falling for potential, and you start requiring presence. The death of the good girl persona. With the integration of your inner strength comes the death of your outer mask. Jung called this the persona, the face we wear to meet the world. From the moment you were born, society has handed you a script. It's the script of the good girl, the accommodator, the nurturer, the peacekeeper. Women are conditioned to constantly scan the room, to check the emotional temperature of those around them, and to adjust their behavior to make others comfortable. In a relationship, even a happy one, this scanner is always running. You compromise on what to watch on TV. You adjust your sleep schedule. You suppress your bad moods so you don't start a fight. You eat what he wants to eat. You are constantly engaged in a subtle, draining performance of femininity. But when the door locks and you are alone, the audience is gone. This is one of the most liberating experiences a human being can have. Living alone is the only time the persona can truly be hung up at the door like a coat. In the sanctuary of your own home, you don't have to smile. You don't have to be pleasant. You don't have to look pretty. You can eat cereal for dinner at midnight, or cook a 5-course meal just for yourself. You can dance until you are breathless, or sit in silence for 3 hours staring at the wall. You begin to rediscover your own natural rhythm, the rhythm that existed before the world told you who you were supposed to be. This terrifies the outside world because a woman who drops the persona is a woman who cannot be manipulated. You stop doing things out of obligation. You stop saying yes when you mean no. You stop laughing at jokes that aren't funny just to be polite. You begin to inhabit your own body fully. This is what Jung meant by authenticity. When you are constantly surrounded by others, you are a fluid, taking the shape of the container you are in. When you are alone, you become a solid. You solidify your values, your tastes, and your opinions. You figure out what you actually like, not what you were trained to like. Have you noticed that since you started living alone, you have less tolerance for drama? Have you noticed that superficial conversations drain you faster than they used to? That is not you becoming bitter. That is your tolerance for inauthenticity dropping to zero. You have tasted the nectar of the real you, and now, the fake taste of the persona makes you sick. You are not becoming antisocial, you are becoming sovereign. And a sovereign woman does not beg for a seat at the table. She builds her own house. The dangerous woman and the future. Why you are dangerous. When a woman integrates her shadow, marries her inner masculine, and drops her persona, she becomes something that modern society doesn't quite know how to label. She becomes dangerous. Not dangerous in a violent sense, but dangerous to the status quo. You see, the entire structure of the modern dating market and the consumer economy relies on female insecurity. It relies on you feeling that you are missing something. It relies on the fear that if you don't buy this cream, wear this dress, or act this way, you will end up alone. But what happens when a woman is no longer afraid of being alone? The leverage shifts completely. In any negotiation, the person with the most power is the person who is most willing to walk away. The woman who lives alone and loves it holds all the cards. You cannot be threatened with abandonment because you have already abandoned the need for external validation. You cannot be manipulated by the silent treatment because you have fallen in love with the silence. This makes you uncontrollable. You become a lie detector. When you meet new people, you aren't scanning them to see if they like you. You are scanning them to see if they are real. You have built a sanctuary in your home, and you become fiercely protective of who you allow to enter it. You stop tolerating bare minimum effort. You stop accepting crumbs of affection because you bake your own bread. To the insecure, this looks like arrogance. They will call you too picky. They will say your standards are unrealistic. But you know the truth. You aren't being picky. You are being protective of your peace. You know how hard you work to build this stability, and you refuse to let anyone come in and wreck it just because they are bored. A new form of love, the soul alliance. Now, the question inevitably rises. Does this mean I will be alone forever? Is this a sentence to a life of isolation? Absolutely not. In fact, it is the exact opposite. By learning to live alone, you are preparing yourself for the highest form of love that exists. You are disqualifying yourself from transactional relationships, relationships born out of need, debt, and fear, so that you can qualify for a conscious relationship. Carl Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." This is what you are waiting for. You are no longer looking for a roommate to split the rent or a warm body to keep the bed warm. You are looking for a chemical reaction. You are looking for a soul alliance. Because you are whole, you don't need a better half. You need a partner who is also whole. You want a man who has done his own shadow work, who has faced his own dragons, and who is not looking for a mother, but for a queen. This kind of love is rare. It takes time to find. And yes, it requires waiting. But the woman who lives alone knows how to wait. She is not pacing the floor anxiously. She is busy building her empire, tending to her garden, and expanding her mind. If that love comes, it will be a collision of two stars, not two beggars fighting over a coin. And if it never comes, you will still be whole. You will still be full. You will never again reduce yourself to a fraction just to fit into someone else's equation. The alchemist of the soul. The heroine's journey. So, the next time someone looks at you with that pitying gaze, or asks why you are still single, do not lower your head. Smile at them. Smile with the secret knowledge of the alchemist. They see an empty house. You see a temple. They see absence. You see presence. They see a woman who wasn't chosen. You see a woman who chose herself. You have walked through the fire of loneliness and come out the other side as gold. You have faced the silence and found your own voice. You have stopped waiting for a rescue boat because you learned how to walk on water. This path is not for everyone. It is a path for the brave. It is a path for the seekers. It is the path of individuation. You are not behind in life. You have simply taken the road less traveled, the vertical path into the depths of your own soul, rather than the horizontal path of social conformity. And in that depth, you have found the one thing that no one can ever take away from you. You have found you. Stand tall in your solitude. Cherish your space. Light your candles, read your books, drink your tea in the quiet morning light. You are exactly where you are meant to be. You are whole. Thank you for spending this time with us here at Timeless Wisdom Official. I want to hear from you. In the comments below, tell me, what is the greatest lesson the silence has taught you? What have you discovered about yourself since you started walking this path alone? Your story might be the exact light another woman needs to see today. If this video resonated with your spirit, please leave a like. It helps this message reach the people who need it most. Share this with a friend who might be struggling with loneliness, to remind her of her power. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Join our community. Let us continue to seek truth, wisdom, and wholeness together. Until next time, embrace the silence.